Yeah, here it is, the middle of the next day. We have chopped apart our big donor piece. You can see that's the top part of the B-pillar and the upper fender with the window sill. And then this is the extraordinarily sharp lower rocker. And this part where my hand's at is actually where the rear beam bolts on, right there. We have sectioned the piece out that we needed, except for this. I'll be saving that. That's for the door card to sit on. We cut out the piece that we needed, basically everything that was bent. And now I currently just have it kind of vice gripped. Always, always, always cut the car smaller than the piece of metal that you have to put back in it. That way you can trim a little bit, trim a little bit, trim a little bit. I like to make tiny little relief cuts in the car itself. That way when I press the metal tight, I have a small gap where I can kind of fill it back in with weld. And then wherever you can match up the old welds, do that, using some vice grips here. I currently have the inside of the fender just kind of flopping in there. Since it does not have to be as pretty, it just needs to be structurally sound and watertight when it's done, so it's just bent out of the way for now. Same as down here in the bottom, you can kind of see it. But the main thing is the seam along here fits right against that body line. I like to use body lines whenever I can. Lines up here. I'll weld a tack here and a tack there and tweak things until they line up. Got a pretty decent seam here. Just kind of butts its way all along. So that's where we're sitting right now. I have gotten my cheap little flux core welder. Don't need anything fancy when you're doing sheet metal, because who cares? This thing was cheap. Welds good as long as you use a high grade flux core wire in it. I think I paid $130 for this stupid little welder. It's only 110 volt, but I used some Hobart flux core wire. It's good stuff. Leaves a pretty nice weld, very little spatter to clean up. Penetrates nicely, perfect for sheet metal, exhaust, things like that. It'll be perfect for putting this back together. We will see you in the next update.